Hey everyone, welcome to Crystal Point. My name is Lyndon and today I'm going to bring you something a little bit different. People usually talk about the best cards of a set or best cards of all time, the strongest, the best decks, deck techs, etc. This series is going to be a little different, It's going to be talking about bad cards, and I mean really bad cards. Not necessarily situational cards, but really bad cards. Stuff that when you see them, if you don't know about them already, are probably going to make you cringe, are going to make you facepalm, are going to make you wonder why waste the cardboard, why waste the printing run. Now, these cards I'm going to show you are only a few selections that I personally hate, or just otherwise wonder what was the point, or just a little bit tweaked could have been actually okay, but they're not. They are what they are, and I'm going to showcase a couple of these as a little bit of a different sort of series. If you guys are masochists and you love seeing terrible cards and you want to see, I don't even know what you want to see. Just tell me show me below. What are your worst cards that you want to see on this sort of series? Because there are so many okay ones, and then there are some that are just purely bad, really bad, and I could never ever put them in deck. Now I'm going to show you 4 or 5 today, and then if you guys like this sort of weird rubbish, then we'll make some more. But for now, we're going to focus on a few, and then just go from there. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first card I'm going to talk about is actually the reason I actually wanted to make this video in the first place, and it's the Opus 2 Wind Backup Ranger. He's a standard unit from Category 3, and dull him, put him to the break zone, choose one backup of cost 1, break it. 1. Not 2, not 3, not even 4, 1. Only 1. And you have to actually break the backup. This card is physically impossible to get value out of. Let me explain what I mean. It costs you 2 to play this card, to start with. Now, if they're going to play a 1-cost backup that you can actually use to break this thing, then they will usually only pay 1 for it. Even if they play at turn 1 by discarding a card, they're still only paying 2 maximum. Now, this thing makes me angry. It actually does. I saw it. It's Opus 2. All right, so it's early. It was early in the days. It was okay. Well, power creep is a thing. We can't have too many powerful things. Now, I thought, well, maybe later on in the line we'll get something better, or maybe it'll actually have more use for it. Because at the moment when it came out, there was only 6 targets for it. 6, and even then there was not. You actually don't get any benefit from it because you lose your backup. So you lose a backup, so they lose a 1-cost backup, which then they could use that slot for something better, like a searcher, a 4-costing, 2-costing with an ability, any other backup, and you have to rely on them having this thing. You have to rely on having a 1-cost backup that you can sack your 2-cost backup to break. Now, if you're already ahead on backups, what's the point? Because you're already ahead on backups. If you've got 4 backups, and this is one of them, and they have 2 backups, you're still breaking one of your backups, so you go down to 3 backups, they go down to 1. What's the point? If you're behind on backups, you're not going to want to sacrifice your own backup because you need your backups to catch up. So you're not, even if they have a 1-cost thing, you're not going to want to sack your own thing. And this is so situational. Do you know how many backups there currently is as of Opus 5, including like if we talk about every single backup currently in the game that is legal as Opus 5, there's like 268 backups. Do you want to know how many backups this has that could break? 6. Then let's take, for example, Opus One Archer. Now this has 215 targets or something like that, and it's in Opus 1, but it's worth you just paying the extra 2 win just to break something that's up to 3-cost backup, because you can break something that's actually useful. This card is physically impossible to get good value out of. It's a terrible card. It's the reason I made this video. It's the reason I'm probably going to make this. If you want to blame a certain card for a really bad series, that's it. It's going to be... no, I'm done. No, get rid of it. Sticking with the Ween theme, we've got Opus One Ninja. Now, this is a forward, a 6k forward that costs 3 from Opus One, and it's a Category 3 card, yay. But its ability is 1 win to discard a card that you have, and choose a forward, deal it 2k. Now, I don't like this card. I really don't like it, because you have to discard a card for it to work. So even if you have 5 backups, you can't just go pay a win, 2k, and actually chip away at someone. That could have actually been good. But you're going to have to physically discard a card. So even if you have 5 backups, you pay 1 and you have to discard a card. Now, unless that's a light and dark card you can't use, why would you want to effectively pay 3 CP for 2000 damage? Now, that's a very specific interaction that you know, it doesn't even get a benefit if you play multiple of these. If you have 3 of these ninjas out, you still have to discard cards as you normally would. So there's actually no benefit in having multiple. So unless you have something, like if you just have a standard unit deck that would get benefit from having standard units, surely there's better options than this. Even if you have CP spare on your backups, you still have to discard a card for this card. So if you have 0 cards, or if you're top deck and you draw 2, you have to ditch one of those cards just to deal 2k to something. I don't think so. You're not going to do it. It's a pointless idea. Unless there's cards that come out in the future. Remember, we're on Opus 5 at this point. So this was released at Opus 1. Unless there's cards that get some kind of benefit when you discard the card from your own hand, that, you know, if it goes directly from your hand to the break zone, play it onto the field, sure, then maybe this card will actually have some play. Maybe have some ideas with it, maybe it'll have some sort of creative interaction. But for now, it's Opus 5, and we still haven't seen anything that would particularly be great with this card. If you have any ideas why this card might be actually good, then please leave a comment below, but it's what we've got, and there's far better options there. There's far better standard units out there, there's far better cards in general, there's far better effects, and it doesn't even cost you half as much. Alright, our third card, and I just can't take much more of this, is Guido, or Guido, whatever you like to pronounce it. I'm going to call it Guido. Probably Guido. No, it's Guido. It's a 3-cost backup sage from Opus 3 is a hero, and he doesn't activate during your active phase. So, as a backup, you're playing this as a 3-cost backup to then not get the CP every turn. In fact, worse, you have to pay 1 water to activate Guido. So you don't actually gain any CP by playing this card whatsoever as a backup, so you're going to use up a backup slot to not get CP every turn. And its only real useful ability is the fact that when you pay 1 water, 1 colorless and dull itself, you can choose the forward of cost 5 or more opponent controls and put it on top of his own deck. Putting it on top of his deck is actually a really, really strong effect, because it's far better than putting it on top of the hand, because it actually screws up their draws. Now that is a really, really strong ability, so I understand there has to be some kind of drawback here, but let's just rephrase this. Say you play this turn 2, and the game goes on for 15 turns. Say, if you have to activate this thing manually, so you're going to be costing yourself effectively 15 CP just to have this on the field, because you're not actually activating it every single turn on its own. So you actually be able to even activate for use 4 CP for other cards. So you're going to be paying 1 water to even activate this thing in the first place. So it's actually costing you CP. And then you have to play 2 effectively plus dull it just to put a 5 cost. That's a very specific ability. Even if it was like any forward, it's still specific. So you're going to pay 3 to activate it, free to play it. You don't get the CP every turn like you would with pretty much every other backup in the game. You're going to pay 1 to activate it, then pay another 2 plus dull it again just to return a 5 cost to the top of the deck. That's a 7 CP sink into this ability, just for 1 trigger of it. Then after that, you're going to have to pay another 4 each time effectively, because you're having to dull Guido as well that you don't even get to activate. So you're effectively going to pay 7 CP, then 11, then 15, then 19, and you don't get any CP every other turn anyway, just to return a 5 coster or higher to the top of the deck, which they will then redraw with 1 extra card on top. So it's not even like you know exactly you're stacking their deck entirely, because they still get 1 extra card they could use. So if you somehow play this card, you're still going to have... they're just going to discard the 5 CP cards, because who cares? You're losing CP every single turn. Why do I care about playing a really expensive dude? I'll just play 4 costers instead. So, why is that such a really bad thing? Like, it even has to be water to activate him, until you can't even put this in like a rainbow deck very easily and just go, well, okay, I'll just pay anything to activate this. It's just bad. It's just really bad. Don't play this. Don't play this. There's no reason to play this card as of yet. There might be some in the reason in the future, but honestly, right now there is 0 reason I would ever play this card. Alright guys, one last card, because I can't take this anymore. It's the Forest Simulacrum. It's a Opus 2 card again, 3-cost lightning mannequin, that's 7k in power. As a forward, it's decent, it's on curve, it's not bad at all. So if you're running a mannequin deck, you might decide to use this, but its ability is so specific. It's so specific. I wouldn't even say it's terrible as an idea, as any card that costs 2 or less put to the break zone due to a Forest Simulacrum cannot use the CX burst. If it was just like Opus 5 Wall, some of the reason it's really popular right now is because it shuts off all the X bursts that target everything, including another effect ability. So 2k or get a brave or something like that. This, you have to damage the opponent with this card, and it has to be an EX burst that costs 2 or less, which means it doesn't stop Leviathan, it doesn't stop Fanfare, it doesn't stop Chaos Walker the Wheel, it doesn't stop Sid Olstein, it doesn't stop so many, it doesn't even stop half of the EX bursts in the game. why? And the more, obviously, the higher the ability, the higher the cost of the card is usually the better EX burst anyway. So you're shutting off really, really mediocre EX burst, or just usually not very good EX burst, even with this card. And you have to hit this with that card. You can't even use this if it was just a blanket ability that just said EX burst of 2 or less can't, on your opponent's side of the field won't work. That's fine, because then you at least, if you have other forwards that attack and they hit the EX burst, then they won't get to use it. But no, it has to be this specific card. So not only do you have to hit an EX burst, which is usually between, quite a low chance of happening anyway, unless you have a very heavy EX burst style deck, you're going to be hitting 1 and 2 costs if you're lucky. So it doesn't only have to be an EX burst, but it has to be 1 or 2 cost, or 0 cost if they come up with that. So it's so specific, and you have to hit it with this card. So you could even just by luck or draw miss with this card, and then the EX board you attack with is a 2 CP EX burst, and you still get to use the ability because it's just so specific. It's not good. It's not good. Even in a mannequin deck, I probably wouldn't even use this card. It's very specific. I mean, sure, you get to play multiple, so I guess if you have 3 of them out and they all attack, then sure, 2 cost EX burst don't work. Ooh, big scary deal. But if you're playing water, who cares? You've got Kukulane, you've got Fanfrit, you've got Leviathan. If you're playing wind, you've got Chaos Walker, the Wheel, etc. Fire, you've got Brynhilda. Earth, you've got Raban. There's all sorts of stuff that this does not shut off, and it's just bad in my opinion. I don't see why anyone would really run it, even in a mannequin deck, unless you're desperate for mannequins. But there are better mannequins like Capricious Reaper and Fleeting Flash. As far as I remember, that's what it's called anyway. But there are so many better mannequins than this. Some mannequins are arguably even better than the originals they came out of. This is just worse. It is far worse. It's just bad as a card in general. Sure, it copies the Opus One X def, but the Opus One X def actually shuts off all the X bursts that it at least hits. So even though he has to hit them still, he shuts off all of them. So at least if you're going to hit with the Opus One X def, you at very least know any EX burst is not going to work. With this, most of them can still probably work anyway, so it's pretty much you might as well have no text for the most part, because it's so specific when it actually happens. You are going to remember the times this happens, but it's going to be so few and far between, it's not even worth playing. Well, that was terrible. Some terrible cards. Some angry discussion. I got actually far more angry and annoyed than I actually thought I would making this kind of video. But I thought I wanted to make something different, and I partially regret even thinking about the idea. But if you guys are masochists and you want more of this stuff, then let me know. I might make more if you guys like it. If you've got cards you think are absolutely horrendous and worthless and terrible, then let me know in the comments below. And who knows, I might make more of this, but I really don't want to. Please don't make me. Please don't make me. Please. Anyway, guys, I'm Lyndon. This has been Crystal Point, and I'll see you guys next time.